Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson. And today I got a special guest with me, my bro, Robb Hayes. What's up, fam?
What's up, man? What's up, man? Thank you for having me on, though.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So, listen, you currently residing in LA, right?
Correct, correct.
What's the temperature like out there about these Lakers, man? What's the vibe out there?
Man, it's it's like it's 110 degrees out there. They hot.
Yeah, they
They
not
hot
feeling
out
it?
there, man. They not feeling it. I mean, LA, it's a championship town. So, they got them banners up there, so they want to keep them banners going. And having LeBron James, bringing in LeBron James and having him win 1 year and struggle the others, it's just not good enough. So I mean, they kind of letting things see how it goes, bringing in Carmelo and Russell Westbrook, but it he on a tight rope right now.
Word. So what's wrong with the Lakers, man? What's up with them? What you think?
Honestly, I think they need to bring Westbrook off the bench.
Right. Do you think that's possible though? Like with the type of personality that he has, do you think that there's any way that the coach can set that off?
I mean, when you look at it, you look at Carmelo, right? Carmelo, when he had that interview in a press conference and he was like, yo, they want me to come off the bench. He had to really sit back and was like, okay, I do need to come off the bench. Because we understand superstars, they want to start and roll and they're not used to coming off the bench. But Carmelo, just kind of like Wade did in Miami when LeBron got there, he had to give LeBron, you know, he had to give him the keys to the Heat in order for them to be successful.
Right.
So I feel like Westbrook, it's his turn to win a championship. And with all that being said, sometimes you just have to sit back and be a part of a team as opposed to taking over.
Do you think like I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like Westbrook is just a different situation, man. I feel like if there's anybody in the league that would fight that to the end, I believe it's Westbrook.
I hear where you coming from. Um, but when we look at situations like James Harden and Kyrie, both ball dominant players. But if you really want to be successful, it's more about a team. And you got LeBron James. He has more pull than anybody in the league. And you see what happens sometimes with these players. They get cut, they get traded. And I don't think that's necessarily going to happen with Westbrook. But to have somebody who's more of an alpha male than him on the team, which is LeBron James, he's going to listen. And it's a team game. So if he wants to win, I feel like he has no other choice.
Do you
I
think
mean,
winning is the most important thing to him though?
he says that, and I don't want to, I, I don't want to put words in his mouth. And as an athlete, and for me as a former athlete, we do want to win. We don't want to lose. So I don't want to say he's an NBA player just out there trying to get a check because you see how hard he plays. I mean, for how hard he plays, you'd be wanting to give him the house at times. So I do think he wants to win. I do think he's a player that wants to win. He's very passionate about it. But sometimes I feel like he's selfish about it and he just doesn't understand that there's other people out there that you don't have to go 100 miles per hour up and down the court. It's not all about you. These people can help too at times.
Do you think it's possible for him to alter his game though? Because for some reason, I feel like I just don't think he could actually learn to play a different way. Like I feel like when they say LeBron James needs to play off the ball, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think he could adjust to not having the ball in his hands all the time. But I'm not necessarily sure that Westbrook could actually adjust. What do you think about that?
I think he could, and I think he could if they trick him into it, per se. So if they bring him off the bench, in if they bring him with another five or another type of lineup other than having LeBron James in there and AD, then he can have the ball. Say he can feed off if LeBron James and say Anthony Davis is starting and whatever other three players Vogel decides to put in, and they have somewhat of a lead, or they're bringing up momentum, then I feel like Russell Westbrook can come off the bench, do what he has to do, and lead the second five and kind of play his game. But I feel like for him being benched will tell him enough. Like, hey, we need you to change it up a little bit because this 10, 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists, 20 turnovers thing, it ain't working.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because he's almost actually averaging a triple double again, even though he's playing terribly. But I think he actually is either leading the league or he's second in turnovers also. So as much as like he brings positively to the team, he hurts them a lot. And a lot of the reason why they probably lost that, what was it, 26-point lead to the Thunder, is because
Mm-hmm.
he turns the ball over too much in the second half, man. Like I think he had 6 turnovers in the second half. I feel like personally, I think that if they try to put him on the bench, I think he's going to get frustrated because he's not going to feel like he's getting the credit he deserves. And I think he will become a distraction to the team, man. I just don't think that his personality, I don't think his ego, I think it's way too big for him to come off the bench, man. I just feel like they probably going to have to trade him, man. If a situation arises and they get a chance to trade him, do you think they should take the opportunity and move him?
I would say because the trade, I mean, I would wait till later to see. He's doing. I mean, we give NBA players so much, so many excuses, and from the outside looking in, I feel like, yo, you've been a professional basketball player. You've been a professional ball player for your whole life, uh, high school, college, now NBA, and come on, bro, like you a turnover machine. You mean to tell me that some of those turnovers you did in the second half yesterday isn't rookie stuff? So to say I want to give him a chance, but it's almost like he's not any different from what they had last year, in a sense.
Yeah,
What they had last year was a more complete team, a,
right,
a a more complete. Everybody had their role and they played it well. It's just injuries kind of plagued them.
right.
So I guess to answer your question, and I hate to say it, but I think maybe they should if there's somebody more available because they can do without. Yeah, you scoring 20 points here and there and you getting the rebounds, but I think what they really like about him is that he's gonna go hard 24 the whole game, and I think that's what they like about him. But I don't think it's worth the risk.
Right.
I don't think keeping him is worth the risk. I'd rather have somebody else as a role player because LeBron and AD can do everything.
Yeah, that's true, man. The only thing that the reason that I do think they should probably hold on is just because with LeBron James being the age that he is, he's more likely to have an injury. With AD having his history of injury, at some point he's probably going to go down this season. Um, so I do think that there is like a slight room for him to be successful with the Lakers, but I think it's going to have to be more of these games when like LeBron James is going to be obviously doing his load management. I think there's going to be more room for him to make an impact then. But when everybody's healthy, I feel like he's going to hurt the team because I feel like they already have two basically 2 point guards because I'm gonna consider LeBron James the primary ball handler as a point guard, and then Rondo, who make really good decisions with the basketball. And then I feel like when you have somebody like Russ, I think he's gonna lose them some games that could potentially get them in a funny spot because I don't like. I feel like the Jazz are going to consistently win throughout the season, so they're going to
Yeah.
have like a top seed. The Warriors, if the Warriors get all the way healthy, they probably going to stay at the top too. So if the Lakers ain't careful, like they don't want to fall below the fourth seed and end up having like have to start the playoffs without home court advantage. Then it could be a little tricky for them. So to be honest with you, I think that he will help them some when those boys get injuries or when they need rest. But ultimately, man, I feel like he is going to be a problem. Do you think that people are putting too much of the blame on him, or do you think anybody else deserves credit for some of the blame?
I think other people deserve credit. I think the only reason why we're looking at Westbrook a lot like this is because in the beginning, we're like, I mean, every year, every time Westbrook goes to a different team, we're like, oh, they got Russell Westbrook, and he does good, but he doesn't show up in the playoffs. And now we're like, oh, he's on the Lakers with LeBron James, and you know the history with LeBron James, how LeBron can change teams just because of who he is. He's player coach.
General
He's very
manager.
smart. Yeah, general manager. So, you know, having Westbrook, you're like, oh, it's going to be great. But I think we look at it different because he he just looks all over the place out there, and him looking all over the place out there shines a bigger light on him than others. Because if you remember yesterday, Malik Monk airballed a three, Carmelo airballed I think 2 threes,
Right.
and but Westbrook turning all over the place, passing the ball like he never played basketball in his life. And so I think others do kind of deserve blame, but we're looking at Westbrook like you're one of the youngest people, or not maybe the youngest, but
He's one of the
maybe
young.
between, yeah, one of the young older guys,
Right.
that can still go 100%. Um, so, I feel like other people do deserve blame, but um, you one of the leaders of the team, man. So you got to take that blame like LeBron too. And AD needs blame too because sometimes he's out there playing soft. I
He
feel like he should be in the center, but come on, bro.
AD is such a strange player, man, because whenever he decides to go and get aggressive, man, he's pretty much a walking 30 and 10, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like super hard to keep that dude from 30 and 10 when he's aggressive. But then he just has some nights where like he just seems like he's just not really engaged, man. And Dwight Howard, he kind of was the same way earlier in his career. Um, he kind of had nights where he took nights off, not defensively. He always played defense, but he had nights where he was terrible on offense and didn't really get stuff done. And
Mm-hmm.
but now he kind of seems like he has more of a like edge to him, and like I kind of liked seeing him like if I'm not sure exactly what was said, but if he told Anthony Davis he was playing soft, man, like somebody needs to keep reminding him of that. Somebody needs to light a fire into him because there's
Yeah.
no way they're going to win the championship unless he's giving them a strong 25 to 27 and like 10 to 13 boards. They have to have that from him.
I mean, because think about this. When the Brooklyn Nets got together, everybody was saying almost the same thing. How is this going to work? You got three dominant players, Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. And when they got together, it worked. You know, I don't know what they said to each other, but it looked like James Harden decided, you know what? I'm going to just play point and get it to you guys. And Durant shot and Kyrie shot, and nobody really cared. This is a little bit different experience because they can't score like the Nets can.
That's true.
And it's 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 just difficult because I'm I'm tired of the narrative, that or the because preseason counts.
Yeah,
And so in my mind, when you looking at the preseason, they lost every game in the preseason.
they
And
did.
people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But some of those games, even if you were a top tier team, some of those games you could have just won by just walking out on the court.
You should be able
There's
to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you should be able to. So there's no reason you guys should not win any games in preseason. And then we acting like you just so dominant that it don't even matter. You can just come in and win anything. Now look, they lost the first game, they lost the second game, they won the third game, and they lost. Oh, they won against the Spurs, they won against the Grizzlies barely, and they lost last night to the worst team in the league. And them guys were just born yesterday.
Yeah, they all young over there.
They all young. You could tell they young. They gave them the game.
Yeah.
They tried to 3 times in a row. So, the preseason shows something. So they got a lot of work. Lakers got a lot of work cut out for them. And I'm not trying to hear you know, LeBron gonna get it together. He does this every year type stuff. Like, who do that shit on purpose?
Right. Do you
You
think
know.
that when the Lakers get back fully healthy, because technically, LeBron is out with an ankle, whether you believe that or not, he's missing games listed under ankle. Um, then they got Trevor Ariza out with an ankle, and they got THT with his thumb or something like that, and then they got Kendrick Nunn with a knee, and then Wayne Ellington with a hamstring. So, do you think that whenever they start to get some of those guys back, do you think it's gonna start to get a little better for them, or do you think it's gonna just make it even more messy?
I do. I do think it'll get better. Because THT can score. Kendrick Nunn's not bad either. But I mean, Ariza old,
Yeah,
Ellington old. I
true.
mean, it. I mean, I don't know what other people seen in these guys because they gotta go through Dallas, Denver, Utah. I mean, Portland. The West is stacked. The West is stacked. Nothing about Kendrick Nunn, Wayne Ellington, uh, THT stands out to me, even with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, if it was LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Caruso, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, um, maybe Russell Westbrook or whatever, some other players, then I would kind of be worried. But I, man, all I see is old guys in a Lakers jersey going out there and play.
And the worst part about the aging, I think, is that they don't play defense very good. Um, and I think they just too old. They just probably get tired too quick. They probably can't exert enough energy to play defense and try to give you some offense. Um, I think that's probably. I think. I think that's probably what's going to hurt them the most when they start to play younger teams. I think if the younger teams run on them, it's going to probably wear them down a lot. The Lakers do got
Mm-hmm.
some size, but like you said, everybody's old. They got DeAndre Jordan old. They got Howard old, but Howard's still in good condition. It seemed like, but old. Then they got AD old. Well, he gets injured like an old guy. So, man, it's gonna be tough on him, man. Where do you see him finishing, man? If everything stays the same, no moves are made. Are they cracking the top four, or are they barely squeaking in the playoffs?
I'm gonna say 6 seed.
6 seed.
I'm gonna say 6 seed because I don't want to. I feel like the West is so stacked that I don't want to put them because there's some good teams out there, but I also don't want to disrespect them too much with LeBron James and AD. I mean, with LeBron on that court yesterday, I'm pretty sure they would have won that game because he
Yeah,
would have slowed it down. He wouldn't have done anything stupid. But also LeBron, he ain't perfect himself. So um, but I'm gonna say sixth, maybe fifth, and it's gonna be a tough road. It's gonna be a tough road. The only way I see them going far is if they get home court. If they the top seed.
Well, if they end up in six, they not getting that home court, man. So what you telling me is, it sounds like you saying they probably going home in the first round again.
I first or second round. I'm gonna say second round. I just don't see it. I just don't see it, man. They don't intimidate me, or I don't think they intimidate. And you heard what the younger players were saying around the league. They're not scared of them.
I think overall, I think the basketball is changing, and where over the last several years it used to be everybody's trying to get on LeBron James' team, and it was whoever LeBron played for and maybe one other team in the West that they thought could compete, usually the Warriors.
Yep.
But now it seems like everybody's spreading out, everybody's trying to make their own legacy now. I actually kind of enjoy it because it's starting to like get to a point where I can't always predict who's the best teams or who's going to be in the finals. Like this year, I have no clue who I think is going to make it to the finals. Now, last year, I absolutely had no idea that I was going to be watching Phoenix and Milwaukee play in the finals. But because of a lot of injuries and the way different things shaped up, I feel like it was a pleasant surprise to watch that. But this year, I have absolutely no clue who the best teams are going to end up being. I like some of the younger teams in the East. I like what the Bulls did. I like what the Heat is doing down there because I think the Heat and the Bulls, I think they constructed the team probably the best way you should do it. They have a decent little core of veterans surrounded by some nice little young guys. But the thing about those teams is I feel like they don't have any egos on those teams, which is helping them to play together. It looks like they having fun, they trusting each other, and they just riding as a team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up having another finals of two teams that nobody expected to be there, man. What like if you had to pick today, who would you predict is going to the finals?
As of right now, I'm gonna say the Bucks.
You got them going back.
Yep, I have the Bucks going back, and I'm gonna give it to the Warriors.
Warriors, Milwaukee, and Golden State, man. That'd be a nice one to watch, man. I would feel better about Milwaukee if they made it back, man, because last year I kind of had some funny feelings. I kind of felt like injuries and stuff kind of made it a little easier for them to get there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, true.
but if they was to go back to back, even if they didn't win, I would feel more confident about what I thought of their core as a team, man. But you definitely can't count them out, man. Even though I think they had a tough loss. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I think they had a nice little tail kicking, man. But it seems like everybody's getting the business now, man. It seems like there's not outside of like the Bulls and the Warriors. It seemed like well, in the Jazz too. Seemed like everybody's kind of had some real moments of weaknesses. Everybody's been exposed a little, but overall, man, I think it's gonna be a very exciting season, man. I can't wait to see how it plays out and to see once we get a little deeper into the season, what teams are rising to the top and what teams are falling off.
Yeah, it's a more balanced league. And we've been waiting on that for a long time. I mean, because when you had the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, you think like, man, nobody's gonna beat them guys. And then the Warriors, with KD, Steph and Clay, nobody's gonna beat them guys. So you thought like it's just an obvious finals. Um, but now, I mean, just thinking about when I think about, matter of fact, thinking about the Lakers schedule, because I know earlier, just figuring out where they're going to finish. They have a stretch where after November 6th, they play the Blazers, then they play the Hornets, then they play the Heat, Then they play the Timberwolves, Spurs again, Bulls, then Bucks. And I feel like that stretch from the 6th to about the 19th of November, we'll see what they really made of, because those are going to be some good teams.
Yeah.
They have to play against, especially the Heat with their new additions, and then the Hornets. They got young, talented players, and the Timberwolves have young, talented players, and the Bulls, Caruso get to play him, play his old team, and then the Bucks. I don't think the Lakers have enough to deal with the Bucks at all.
So you think they're gonna get dropped a couple times in that stretch?
Man, AD ain't about to stop Giannis. LeBron ain't about to stop Giannis. They tough. They got PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker on the Heat now, right?
PJ went to the Heat.
Yeah, he on the Heat, but they got I don't think DiVincenzo is back, but they got some new additions it's gonna be dope. Oh, they got Grayson Allen, right?
Oh yeah, I do think he's on there.
They got Grayson Allen too. So I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. I'm sticking with my prediction. 6th.
The Laker fans are not gonna like that, man. They're gonna be mad at you for that one.
Man, that's okay, man. They won their little Mickey Mouse one last year. The Dodgers won their little Mickey Mouse World Series last year. They could be happy about that. Wasn't nobody paying attention. Everybody's sick and shit. Family hurt and broke down. So now everybody's back to normal. So we're gonna see how it is this year. If the Lakers win it this year, they legit.
Yeah. It'd probably be one of the oldest teams to ever win, right?
Man, look, I'm saying it today, October 28th. They ain't winning, but if they did, yeah, it'd be the oldest team to ever win, and I ain't gonna say nothing no more.
Look, man, I know me and you is both MJ guys, right?
Oh yeah,
but they could probably never change my mind. Probably never change your mind. But if he was to win with this team, would you have to give it a little consideration, or are you just still not giving it anything?
So, one thing I've taken from listening to other sports analysts, like Chris Broussard, he mentioned something that was spot on. He said LeBron's longevity is good, but it can also work against him. Because, I mean, look, you've been in the league for what, 19, 20 years?
19, I believe.
19 years, and you've been, he's got what, 5 titles? No.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 5 titles out of how many tries?
Hold on. It's not 5, it's 4, ain't it?
He's got 2 with the Heat, 1 with the Cavs, and 1 with the Lakers.
Yeah, it's 4.
So 4. He's got 4 out of
like 10 or something like that.
10 tries. It would be better if he had 6 out of 12, because it would kind of be half. But I mean, you've been in the league so long, bro. Like, you have all the time in the world to go. And so it ain't really changing. It ain't really changing for me. I mean, he's going to play for another 3 or 4 years, and ain't nothing going to change for me. I mean, we could talk about it like he's going to solidify his spot as number 2, and I even have a hard time putting him over Kobe.
Right. Just
because I'm a guard guy. I feel like they had to do more. I don't know. I just like Kobe better.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people agree with you, man. I think they kind of disrespect Kobe a little bit in the GOAT conversation. Like, I feel like Kobe is as good as any basketball player that's ever played, and he's almost as accomplished as all of them too. The only thing that kind of hurts Kobe is he kind of got robbed of maybe a few more MVPs that he probably should have won.
Yeah.
And if he would have probably got those, I think he would have been stamped in at number 2. But because he didn't get those, I think people kind of like to shuffle him back a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
you could make a case that he is the second greatest basketball player of all time. You couldn't really like just throw it out the window if somebody was to go there.
Yeah, and I mean, like you know, we always had the discussion. There's so many different rules, the competition Jordan had to face, and who he had um, playing with him. It's just there's nothing to change my mind about Jordan, as well as probably 97% of basketball fans. I feel like, but I mean, LeBron wins this one, having to go through what the West has, and whoever the East going to be. If Kyrie comes back and the Nets are rolling and he beats them,
Like now, I would have to give him if he took this Lakers team as it's constructed now, and he beat a 100% healthy and all parties involved Nets team. I would have to. I can't. I still wouldn't be able to give him GOAT status over Jordan, but I would have to give him some credit for this one though, man, because I feel like Well, see, here's the problem with the Nets. I feel like everybody is really like being hard on James Harden right now, and because they changed the rules and it's looking like he can't score. But to be honest with you, I think he's just not in shape. I feel like when he gets back in shape, I feel like he's still going to get buckets because at the end of the day, he still can take people off the dribble. He still can shoot. So I don't think he's going to be a 20-point scorer. I think he's still going to be over 25. He might not touch 30 like he normally does, but I think he'll still do 26 at least. I just feel like at the end of the day, he's been scoring too long at high volumes, and yeah, he might have to adjust his game a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's still going to hit step back threes. He's still going to go to the hole, and he will get some calls. He might not shoot 14 free throws a game, but he probably still shoots 6 or 8.
yeah, and I mean, he does kind of look out of shape, and if he's out of shape, that would say a lot about KD to me as well, because we all know KD, he just loves to hoop. He doesn't want to hear all the media talk. He doesn't want to be answering questions about his teammates or whatnot. He just wants to go out there and hoop. I guess he totally forgets that he signed a contract where he has to talk to all these people, but we're not going to get on that. I do feel like if James Harden's out of shape and he's losing these games and KD's just out there, quote unquote, hooping because he loves to hoop, KD doesn't seem to be a good leader. I mean, when you think of people always talk about how Jordan was, Jordan doesn't have to treat his teammates like this, or Kobe doesn't have to treat his teammates like this. Look at how they're cemented in NBA legacy. Look at how Jordan cemented in NBA legacy. He may have been rude to them at times or very high maintenance and high strung at times about winning, but it was all about winning and it was all about holding his teammates accountable.
Yeah.
So if James Harden is out there playing, you know, playing out of shape,
You feel like KD should get up in his ass and tell him to get it together.
yeah, like get it together because KD, you can't talk about how much you want to win and you want to play ball. I mean, you want to just play ball like that and get paid or something. Go somewhere, go overseas or something. But you in the NBA getting paid tons of money. You getting deals outside of the NBA's, all because people want to come and see you. Fans pay for that. So you're a leader on that team. I mean, come on. You were a toe away from going to the finals last year.
Yeah.
A toe.
I told,
And
man.
they needed you the leader. So if James Harden's out there playing lazy, if his hamstrings hurt or whatever, you know, if he's out there playing lazy and you know about it, you need to say something about it. I mean, James Harden is struggling right now, um, and the team needs to step up. But if he's out there struggling because he's out of shape, KD needs to say something and be a better leader.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you, man. But anyways, I think I'm gonna go on and wrap it up with you, man. I appreciate you taking time out to talk to me, man. And we'll definitely do it again. But before I let you go, man, you got any plugs or shout outs you wanna make real quick, bro?
Yeah, man. I know there's a lot of hip hop fans out there, so I want you guys to go on head over to www.robbhayesmusic.com. ROBB, that's two B's, hayesmusic.com. Also want to give a big shout out to Sports and Discourse for having me on here.
Yes,
And
sir.
a big shout out to Beyond the Game. It's a great group, a lot of sports knowledge on there. So that's really all I got to say, man. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to all you guys out there, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
No doubt, brother. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, brother.
Later.